Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, police and security officers in Pakistan rounded up 5,000 people over the last 2 days after the suicide bomb attack on a park in Lahore, which left more than 70 people dead. Most of them have now been released, but over 200 people are being held in custody for further investigation. The Taliban splinter group, which said it carried out the attack, declared it was targeting Christians celebrating Easter, although most of those killed were Muslims, many of them women and many of them children. It was Pakistan's deadliest attack since a 2014 school massacre claimed by the Taliban, which killed 132 students. Well, joining us now from Islamabad is the writer Samira Shackle. Samira Shackle, you have actually spent much of today talking to people who either witnessed or survived this attack. What have you learned?
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's just it's a horrific attack. People are reeling, and I think the fact that it came at a time when, after the 2014 school massacre that you mentioned, the narrative that's been heavily pushed by the authorities is that terrorism is reduced across the country, that safe havens are coming to an end. That's a line we've heard repeated a lot. And while much smaller scale attacks have been continuing on a sort of weekly basis, I think it took a really big attack like this to sort of jolt the establishment into admitting that there were still things that needed to be done. And I think all the people who've been affected, the people I've been speaking with today, just absolutely harrowing stories, really, really astonishing bloodshed, and I think a lot of anger at the state's failure to protect them, even at a time when they're being told that, that things are coming under control.
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound very under control when you round up 5,000 people and only 200 of them are kept in custody. What is that telling us?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we can expect more heavy-handed policing in the weeks and months to come. And this is, you know, it's a sort of new operation in Punjab, the province where the 5,000 people were arrested today, but that's an echoing of tactics that we've seen in other parts of the country over the last 18 months. And the operation that's just been launched in the Punjab is being based heavily, apparently, someone told me today, upon the Karachi operation, which has been going on in the southern city of Karachi, where we've seen absolutely thousands of people arrested, scores and scores, hundreds of extrajudicial killings by police and so on. So while sort of crime rates and the rates of terrorist attacks have reduced in Karachi, you must ask at what cost, and it's certainly a very heavy-handed approach.
Now, when we look at the people who perpetrated this terrible carnage, we're looking at Sunnis. What's the belief structure? What, I mean, are they influenced by ISIS or what?
This particular group has quite an interesting history in that they're essentially a Taliban splinter group. Some months ago they declared allegiance to ISIS and then declared allegiance back to the Taliban. So I think the sort of most coherent way of looking at them is essentially as a Taliban splinter group. All the key commanders in the group are people who really cut their teeth in the Pakistani Taliban. They are sort of officially declared allegiance to the Pakistani Taliban. So those are the links of the group. The same organisation was responsible for an attack on a Roman Catholic church in Lahore last March, which had a lower death toll but had the same aim of targeting the Christian community. And you know, there's a long and horrible history of violent sectarianism in Pakistan, and that's something that more recent jihadist movements have tapped into, those sort of existing networks of sectarian groups, largely Sunni groups targeting the Shia minority, but there are also some sort of counter-militias, counter-groups.
Samira, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you.
Thanks.